In order to generate accurate quantities from your drawings, Dimension needs to know the scale to apply to each measurement. After viewing this lesson, you'll be able to set the scale on a drawing and establish detail scales for sheets that include multiple sections with different scales. Several predefined scales are provided with Dimension, so you can easily select them for your drawings. I'm looking at the first floor plan, and when I zoom in, I can see that it uses the scale 3/32 of an inch equals 1 foot. Now, my Home tab toolbar is too wide to fit in the window, so I'm going to keep the right-hand portion of it right here for this lesson. You can see that no scale has been set for the drawing yet. I'll click the ruler to open the drawing scale window. In this window, I can select a predefined scale from the list, or I can manually set up the scale if the one I need isn't here. For this drawing, I'll use the predefined scale of 3/32 of an inch equals 1 foot. When I click OK, the toolbar shows that the scale has been set. You can save some time by setting a default scale for the entire project. You do this in the Setup window for the currently open project. On the Home tab, I'll click Edit to see the project settings. For the default scale, select the most common scale for this set of drawings, and then click OK. Note that this doesn't automatically apply the scale to drawings, because this could lead to inaccurate quantities if you forget to modify it. However, each time you begin a trace on a drawing whose scale is not set, the Set Scale window opens. Because I've set a default scale on the project, this window shows the default selection. That way, I don't have to go search for it every single time. To use the selected scale, I'll click Use Selected. Now let's take a look at that window again. On a drawing for which no drawing scale has been set, when I start a trace, the window opens. Remember, to use the already selected scale, just click Use Selected. You can also select a different standard scale from the list. The only time you'd want to click Set Scale is if you want to open the full drawing scale window to set up a brand new scale. Sometimes you might not know the scale for a drawing, or you might want to double check the scale's accuracy. You can do this by manually calibrating the scale. First, we'll zoom into an area of the drawing that shows a nice round measurement. It doesn't even need to be a component of the structure. This callout is a convenient 60-foot length, so we'll use that to calibrate the scale. The longer the distance of the measurement you select, the more accurate your scale will be. Click the ruler to open the scale window. Click Calibrate and then carefully select the two endpoints of the measurement. The actual distance on the drawing is displayed as the drawing distance in inches. By the way, you can switch to metric units, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. For the actual distance, I'll enter 60 feet. If you want to see how close the calibrated scale is to a standard scale, you can click Normalize. Normalizing gives you the option to convert the ratio so that at least one of the new measurements, the drawing distance or the actual distance, is 1. You might also see a third option if Dimension can identify a standardized fraction that represents the scale. In this case, 3/32 of an inch equals 1 foot is 99.9% accurate for the distance that I measured. The percentage indicates how close the entered values are to that fractional ratio. If the drawing has been resized or the format has changed, normalizing gives you a sense of how significant the change is. Normalizing is an optional step. You can use the scale exactly as you've entered it if you want, or select one of the normalize options. Now I mentioned that you can switch to metric units if you want, so let's look at that real quick. On the Settings tab, click User Preferences, and then click the Drawing tab. For the Imperial Metric Scale Usage option, you can select Always Use Imperial or Always Use Metric if you always use one system or the other. Only those options will appear in the scale window. If you sometimes use the other system, you can select one of the Mostly options. The most common system, in this case Imperial, is shown first in the list, and the metric options are shown below in case you need it. Sometimes a single drawing sheet includes multiple detail or section drawings, with some using different scales than others. The wall section sheet is a good example. The drawings on the right half of the page use the scale 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. I need to apply different scales to different sections. So how do I set that up? First, I'll set the scale for the whole drawing, just as I did before. I'll use 1 inch equals 1 foot for the scale for the entire drawing. Next, I'll go to Drawing, Detail Scales, and click Add. The first thing I need to do is specify the area of the sheet that this detail scale will apply to. I'll click Set Border and notice that the hint window coaches me. I'll zoom back out to see the entire drawing. Now I'll click the upper left corner of the detail area, followed by the lower right corner. The green box is the area within which the new scale will apply. Once the border is set, I can name this detail scale and select the ratio, 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. When I click OK and then Close, I can clearly see the blue rectangle with the detail scale, as well as the overall scale setting for the drawing. And there's no limit to the number of detail scales that you can add to a drawing. This lesson covered setting the scale on a drawing, calibrating the scale, and adding detail scales to sheets with multiple sections. Before you move on to the next lesson, take some time to complete the activity so you get some practice in how to set drawing scales on your drawings. Thanks for viewing this Anytime Learning video.